Hey everyone, welcome to our video series, Canal Days, and thanks for joining us for today's episode of the conservation lands around South Hadley, Massachusetts. I am your host, Carrie, here with my co-host, local historian and founder of Historical Tours of Greater Holyoke, Robert Comu. As your personal tour guide, Robert will lead you through some of the most iconic sites and their legends of historic significance throughout New England's preeminent and pivotal state of Massachusetts. With his expert insights, every monument and memorial story comes to life. Afterwards, don't forget to check out his website, hoyokecanaltour.org, to access the full Canal Days video and podcast series. Also, check out his free in-person public tours he offers throughout Western Mass and the 2025 schedule for these special events. You can also book personalized private tours for groups of all sizes, tailored to your interests. And to discover that and much more, remember to log on to hoyokecanaltour.org. So, Robert, can you summarize some of the well-known conservation lands within South Hadley?
Yes, let me give you a list of the 17. There is a page on my website just for the South Hadley conservation lands, and it will tell you the name of the land. It will also tell you the South Hadley's Conservation Department trail map and their information, but it also has my tour information listed under that. Then it gives you acreage and where to park. So there's the Battery Brook, Stony Brook Conservation Area that we're at right now. There's also the Battery Brook East, which you cannot go to. Then there's the Back Piers Wildlife Sanctuary Pup Conservation Area, which is on Edgewater Lane. There's the Black Stephen Conservation Area, a very big one, between the South Hadley High School and the Plain School. The Binder Conservation Area, which is also extremely large. Best to go there by end of Lyman Terrace. There's the Gomarley Conservation Area, the Han Warner Arboretum, the Hawkins Bird Sanctuary, then the Jones Carver Newton Conservation Area, the Laurie Avenue Conservation Area, the LeBlanc Conservation Area, the Mount Holyoke Range, and South Hadley does have one area up there, and that's the largest one that South Hadley has. The range is much bigger, so the state owns it, town owns it, private groups own it, Castro owns some of it, and then another state group owns some of it, and so it's quite enormous. Then there's the Range View Meadow Conservation Area, the newest one of all that South Hadley has. There's the Titus Pond, there's Edward Trumpke Stony Brook Conservation Area, there's the Warner Conservation Area, and then there's a Leaping Well Nature Trail, which is a wonderful one. And they all have their properties to them, and so I hope you visit all and get used to them. So, next up.
And can you educate us on any special characteristics within the conservation lands?
Some are bird sanctuaries with no trails, Laurie Avenue, and then there's one off of Silver Street like that, and then there's one you can't even get inside of, the Battery Brook East. It's landlocked. And then there's this one which was given to the town by Mount Holyoke College, has a nature area, has the Battery Brook inside of it, so you get to see the delta of the Battery Brook. Yes, it widens out like a delta. It has meandering small streams through these flat shallows. And then there's peculiar ones. A lot of them happen around the Leaping Brook area. And there's a huge one that's near my house, which is one of my favorite, called the Biden Conservation Area. It's almost 1 square mile, but it's only the third biggest in town. The biggest would be the one on the Mount Holyoke Range itself, which is enormous, and they have a lot of nature trails up there. And they have a lot of cool ones. There's 17 of them to check out. And I've been to all of them, and they're all different, and they're all there for different reasons, whether for birds, for animals, for migratory life forms, to conserve mountain ranges, to conserve brooks, or some are just there because owners gave them to them and there was no reason to change them over, and they become nature sites. So they're really cool. So let's go walk around on this one. All right, Mount Holyoke College has their rowing site down here. Now this site has what looks like an old farmer's field. And it has over here a board for you to read. Now this is common between a lot of these conservation areas, especially the larger one. They'll have boards for you to read, and you can read off the particular features of that area. All right, and this one has its own parking lot. They don't necessarily have their own parking lot all the time. Right, so some have just a space for you to go. Some have all these different things along the way. Right, so South Hadley is blessed to have this many and a great variety of them. They also have signage out on them to tell you the feature, and this one has some of those signs, but other parks do too. Conservation lands around here do too. So there's a lot to check out. And of course this one's going to have a view both of the Mount Tom range and the Mount Holyoke range. The Mount Holyoke range you can only see during late fall, winter, and early spring, whereas the Mount Tom range you can see a lot more. Okay, so we'll walk a little bit and I'll continue to talk, and I hope you enjoy being out in these beautiful environments. And this one has a packed cinder trail for you from most of the way, but it also connects out to what dirt trail and wooden bridge is put in place out to the other side, which is also part of the same conservation area, the Bachelor Brook Stony Brook Conservation Area. And that's on Route 47. So from Ferry Street to Route 47, they're connected. And there, it's much larger, and it also connects up with the town's athletic field and the town gardens on one. Okay, and this one has a sign for you, the Bachelor Brook Watershed, and it tells you about that watershed. And there's 4 of these types of signs around. Others tell you about Native Americans, others tells you about life forms in the Bachelor Brook, and then some in the Connecticut River, which is on the other side of the park. All right, so thank you for coming along.